Welcome to another deep dive. Today, we're diving into a really captivating story from the 11th century. It's all about this powerful vizier's dramatic fall, his, incredible defiance, and the choices he made right at the end, choices that really shaped how he's remembered.
Yeah, and we're digging this up from the Tarikh Bayhaqi. It's a really quite amazing historical account by Abul Fazl Bayhaqi. This source gives us this rare, detailed look into the cutthroat world of the Ghaznavid court. It shows you not just what happened, but the complex human stuff behind it all.
Right, so our mission today is basically to pull out the key insights from Bayhaqi's powerful telling of this. We'll explore the subtle power plays going on, what integrity looks like when you're up against absolute power, and maybe what makes a story like this stick around through history. Get ready for a really compelling look at this clash between conviction and, political ambition. Okay, so let's try and picture this. We're in Ghazni, the Ghaznavid capital, around 1030 CE. Bayhaqi paints this really stark picture, this dusty execution ground. Imagine a rough wooden scaffold sort of looming there under a heady gray sky. You can almost hear the beams creaking in the wind. It's not just a place, it's definitely a stage.
And what's really fascinating is how Bayhaqi captures the whole feel of it. You've got this restless crowd gathering nobles in their silks, merchants, regular folk, and they're all whispering. This isn't just, carrying out a sentence. It's a very calculated public show, meant to send a message about who's boss. The tension, he makes it sound almost thick.
And then you have the main figure, Hasanak. He was once the empire's most powerful, vizier-like, chief minister, the sultan's right-hand man in the Ghaznavid Empire. And now he's being led out of a prison cart, in chains. His turquoise robe, which used to scream status, is all tattered. His face is thin, gaunt, but strikingly firm, resolute.
Yeah, Bayhaqi uses this incredible image, describes him as an eagle gazing at the horizon, unbroken by his chains.
Wow, you can almost feel the crowd just holding its breath.
Yeah.
A mix of awe, maybe pity, maybe fear, sorrow, definitely. And to really get why he was so defiant up there on the scaffold, we kind of need to understand his last few days.
Yeah.
Bayhaqi gives us this glimpse into his cell. It's this damp stone room under the palace. Walls slick with moisture, just a sliver of moonlight coming in. I mean, it sounds like a place designed to just crush your spirit.
Exactly. Which makes you wonder, right? In that kind of isolation, how do you hold on to yourself? Bayhaqi tells us Hasanak is kneeling on the cold floor, praying quietly, praying to Ahura Mazda, that's the supreme god in Zoroastrianism, the old Persian faith, asking for spiritual strength.
And his words to a guard, a sympathetic one apparently, they really cut to the core of it. He says, "I betrayed no king, and that truth will free my soul."
Right, and this conviction, it comes from his past. Hasanak wasn't just anybody. He was hugely respected, absolutely central to the previous sultan's government. So his sudden fall under the new sultan, Masood, was shocking, politically charged.
And this next detail, it just hammers home that unbending spirit. Bayhaqi says with a trembling hand, he actually scratches words into the cell wall. Hasanak, loyal to Persia. Just, wow. A quiet little act of rebellion right there on the wall. A last message against the official story, painting him as a traitor. So then he's led out towards the scaffold. Bayhaqi notes his steps are steady, even with the chains, the crowd parts. Some people are crying, others just silent. Watching him climb those wooden steps, it's such a contrast, isn't it? His state, but his composure.
And if you zoom out a bit, the power dynamics in this moment are just fascinating. Sultan Masood, the one who ordered all this, he's watching. But from a distance, from a balcony, Bayhaqi hints that his face is hard to read, maybe anger, maybe doubt, maybe even a flicker of regret.
Suggests it wasn't just simple justice, maybe?
Probably not. It feels much more like political consolidation, getting rid of the old guard. And then you have Abu Sal Zuzani, he's the rival vizier, the one who basically cooked up the case against Hasanak, accusations of disloyalty, even religious heresy. He's down there among the courtiers. And Bayhaqi notes this sly smile he can barely hide.
The scheming.
It's pure political theater, really.
Yeah.
Out with the old, in with the new order Zuzani represents.
So Hasanak turns to the crowd. His eyes, Bayhaqi sees, blazing with defiance, and his voice is clear, strong. He declares, "Judge me not by the lies of cowards, but by my deeds for Persia."
Powerful stuff.
Yeah. And apparently a woman in the crowd actually cries out, "Hasanak is innocent!" But her voice just gets swallowed up by the murmurs. A lot of people had probably bought into Abu Sal's whole smear campaign by then. It's
Yeah.
like truth versus propaganda right there.
And Behaki captures this moment so vividly. Hasanak stood tall, as if death were but a shadow he could outshine. Just incredible writing. Then the executioner puts the noose around his neck. Hasanak looks up at the sky, and there's this faint smile on his lips, like he's seeing something beyond all this.
Yeah.
The rope tightens, silence falls. Just the wind, maybe.
Yeah.
And Behaki says the sound of that taut rope echoed like a final heartbeat. Hasanak's life ends, his body sways, the crowd gasps, some look away. And you have to remember, Behaki himself was a court official. He was likely there, witnessing this, which just adds this raw, authenticity to it all.
Definitely. So, in the days after the execution, the story doesn't just end. Whispers start going through Ghazni. Some people are saying Masood, the Sultan, is actually haunted by it, waking up from nightmares, hearing Hasanak's voice saying, "I was loyal," which suggests maybe a moral cost to that political move.
It really highlights something important, doesn't it? An act of injustice, even if it seems politically smart at the time, it can plant seeds of, distrust, instability down the line. And look at Abu Sal Zuzani, the guy who engineered it all. He expected to consolidate his power, right?
Yeah, you'd think so.
But apparently he finds himself kind of sidelined. Masood starts getting wary of him, maybe seeing just how cunning and ruthless he could be. Behaki has this great line reflecting on it all. Pride and betrayal are twin blades and both cut deep. It's such a timeless point about ambition getting out of control.
So Hasanak's story, it didn't just vanish, it became a legend. People started telling it in Ghazni's coffee houses, recounting his rise, his fall, almost like a cautionary tale for, future generations. His name turned into the symbol loyalty betrayed, the man who chose truth, even when it meant death. He became like a moral benchmark for ordinary people.
And Behaki ends his account with this really haunting image, the palace of Ghazni at dusk. The golden halls seem dim, almost like the building itself is mourning this lost star. It suggests that even inside the court, people knew something important, something essential had been lost with Hasanak. His fall isn't just history, it's a study in character, isn't it? How even losing, even dying can shape how people see you, how your legacy is formed. It even affects the people who condemned him and us reading about it centuries later.
Yeah, absolutely. Hasanak's life ended right there on that scaffold. But his courage, his conviction, it really seems to have outshone the political games that brought him down. His story, captured like this by Behaki, it really reminds us about the sheer power of sticking to your principles, even when you're facing overwhelming power.
Which leaves us with a pretty compelling question, I think. What is the real price of defiance in a world run by power? And how does personal integrity, even when it leads to, total ruin, end up creating a more lasting legacy than the temporary wins of those who hold the power?
So, something for you listening right now, maybe think about, when faced with those impossible choices, what do you prioritize? Survival, no matter what? Or would you, maybe like Hasanak, choose to stand by your truth, whatever the cost? Just something to mull over as you navigate your own deep dives into history and, human nature.